Hi, welcome to Leap Scholar. This is Manisha Angre, an expert IELTS trainer. So, today's session, we are going to talk about the examination of IELTS. So, actually, we are going to solve a lot of queries that students generally have, such as where to take the exam from how to take the test, what is the test about, what things should we consider before taking the test of IELTS? What is a good score and how are we evaluated? So why wait? Let's get started. So let's begin with understanding what the exam is all like and what is the exam. So what is IELTS? It is actually the International English Language Testing System. So I stands for International, E for English, L for Language, T for Testing and S for System. So that's an acronym. And why does one need to appear for IELTS examination or who takes the test? So anyone who is applying for all native English speaking countries such as the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Europe, and Ireland. If you're applying to any of these countries, then it is mandatory for you to take the IELTS examination. So, what do you mean by saying that if you're applying? So, who applies for this examination? Firstly, student applicants, and next is the PR applicants. Who are the student applicants? All those who are applying for undergrads, masters, or PhD to a foreign country or to the native English speaking countries, they need to appear for the academic training IELTS because they're applying for an academic course. And the others who want to apply for work permits and permanent residencies, they have to consider the general training IELTS. So there are two types of IELTS. One is academic and the other is general. So first consider, what are you applying for? Is it for a student visa or for a work visa? So just consider that and then take the training. So who conducts the examination? So IELTS examination is actually owned by Cambridge Assessment International Education. So Cambridge checks the proficiency of a person appearing for the examination. They have set the paper and they give it to IDP and British Council at the same time. So IDP and British Council are the two bodies that can conduct the test. So a student can appear for IELTS either through IDP or through British Council. They both are same in assessment. They carry the same paper. They carry the same protocol of conducting the examination. So actually, there is no difference between IDP and British Council. Yes, still we do get a lot of questions asking for which one is better. Is it IDP or British Council? If you're confused between IDP and British Council, there are a few things that you should consider. First, consider the dates available in both IDP and British Council. So if you are applying on a particular day or if you have a deadline coming, let's say you want to apply in the last week of January. In that case, if you go and check IDP or British Council, if the date is available, well and good. If it is not available, you can just shift to the other board. So there is no problem. Just first check whether the dates are available when you want to appear for the test. Next thing that you should consider is the availability of computer-based test. If you are looking forward to apply to IELTS examination through a computer test, then you should check whether your city does give computer test, and if not, is it IDP that has it or British Council. Third thing that you should consider is the proximity of the center from your residence. If IDP center is quite far away, whereas British Council is quite closer to your home, you should go for British Council. So just consider these aspects because the entire protocol of correcting the paper and evaluation is same whether it is for IDP or British Council. There is no difference. You may say that there are a lot of rumors you have come across even on various medias that no one is better over the other. So I would say they are basically personal experiences that a test taker experienced when they appeared for the test. For example, I have appeared for IDP today. I had no problem, but there were many other in the center who found some or the other difficulty. Now what they would do is they would go back and give feedback that IDP was not so good, and I think I should have gone through British Council, because their friend might have taken the test from British Council and they did not experience any issues on the same day. So these are basically personal experiences and have nothing to do with them individually. I hope now your doubt on taking IDP and British Council is clear, and you should just go with what these aspects tell you to, or considering these aspects. Now let's see what are the prerequisites for IELTS examination. Yes, there are certain things that you must know before you apply for the test. So first and the foremost thing is that you should have a valid passport for applying for the examination. Without a passport, you cannot apply for the exam. So if not, just right away go and apply for your passports. Have your passports in hand before you go for the examination. Next thing is preparation. Of course, it is preparation and practice that makes a man perfect. So if you're looking for a great score, a 7 band and above, make sure that you have practiced enough and prepared as well. How to appear for the test? Should I go for a paper test or a computer test? Well, there's a simple solution to that. First thing is, check whether your city has a paper test only or is there a computer test available too. After you have known that there is a computer test available, the other things that you must consider is, first, paper test. If you want to appear for a paper test, you must have a good handwriting. But if you're going for a computer test, you do not have to worry about the handwriting because you will be typing everything. Second thing about the computer test is the word count appears on the screen, whereas on a paper test, you may have to manually keep counting your words in order to make sure that you have written the minimum words. Next, the time is reflected on the screen here. You need not look here and there. Third, cut, copy, paste and delete options are available on the screen. So if you have missed on anything, you can just insert, you can just copy paste instead of erasing and rewriting. So you don't have to worry about even your sheet getting untidy. About reading, you need to write your answers in separate answer sheet, whereas here you're actually going to type in your question in your screen, or there is space available for typing your answers, so you're just going to do it over there. The next important thing that you must consider while the reading test is that most of the questions have options. For example, the true false not given in a paper test, you will have to write as true, false and not given, whereas in the computer test you just have to click on the button that says true, false, not given. So there are actually less chances of you making errors. For one reason is that if it is been yes, no, not given, and instead of it if you've written true, false, not given, you may not get a correct answer or you will not be scored correctly for that, whereas there are no chances of that happening here, right, because you have buttons. Next, going to the listening section, you get 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers in the answer sheet, whereas you get 2 minutes to transfer your answers into the answer sheet. Yes, of course, again, there are less chances of you making errors. And last but not the least is the result. In the paper test, the result is declared after 13 to 15 days, whereas in the computer test, it is declared just after 3 to 5 days. That's really nice, right? Because you can then take a decision on your further application process. So I think that computer test has more advantages over the paper test. What is the pattern of the test? Well, it is listening, reading, writing and speaking. So your skills on listening are tested, reading, writing as well as speaking skills are tested through IELTS examination. The different modules have nine bands for each. So listening is 9 bands, reading is 9 bands again, writing 9 and speaking 9. So that means every module has been given 9 bands each. The listening and the reading modules are considered to be objective because they have 40 questions and your marks, your raw scores are 14 marks, which are later converted into the band scores, and that's how your bands are allotted. Whereas in the writing and the speaking module, there are no particular question numbers, therefore they are subjective in nature. But yes, there are some parameters that are considered. To know more about that, check out on our writing videos and speaking videos. For a paper test, usually the listening, reading, and writing are conducted on the same day, whereas for the speaking, there can be a different day allotted to the test taker. So more or less, it is 2 hours and 45 minutes that a test taker spends for the listening, reading, writing, and another 11 and 15 minutes for speaking. For a computer test, all the 4 tests may take place on the same day. 30 minutes you get for your listening module, and you get 10 other extra minutes to note down your answer. That means in a paper test, the student gets 40 minutes, whereas in a computer test, you don't get those 10 minutes extra, but you do get 2 minutes to check your answers. Reading is same, it's 60 minutes both for reading as well for the paper test as well as for the computer test, whereas for writing, it's 60 minutes, same for the paper test as well as a computer test, and 11 to 15 minutes, same, equally same. So basically it's just the listening where there can be a slight change that you may find. Appearing for it over and over again can be overwhelming, and sometimes you do not even score better. Therefore, it is advised that take some time, prepare for it, and then appear for the test. I hope that we have been able to give you some valuable information, and if there are any further queries, do send us, do connect with us, and do wait for our further videos that are coming.